saying that in times of survival you need to turn towards the feminine. Belial said this to me a very long time ago, and I never quite understood what he meant. Like, when a woman is going through survival energies, usually what you'll come to find is that you turn completely the other way. Women get hyper independent, they get very masculine, they get triggered, they lash out, they behave in all kinds of ways because a lot of trauma is, it's a symbiosis between the heart area and the mind, obviously. Here I'm talking specifically about women. I will cover men at some point as well. So generally what happens is they shut off, they wall off. There's a wall, and every other person can see that wall except you. So I know that wall, I've experienced that wall myself, I've broken that wall myself with blowtorches, with hammers, you know, whatever you want to call it. And when you as a woman make a focus to turn towards the feminine, in any mode, but especially in survival mode, you'll come to find that even in the tiniest of interactions, there'll be tiny things that bring you pleasure and joy. Like I've said, what happens is women wall off. They completely shut off. They get very defensive. They get angry. All kinds of things. Hyper independence. I don't want to mix up with people. I don't want to talk to people. Which, of course, is a trauma response, and a lot of women have experienced stuff, of course, including myself. But what happens when everything clears out is that you can be more present, even if we don't know anybody's circumstances. I can get on camera and say this, that, and the other, but I don't know somebody's circumstances. I really don't know what they've experienced or what they've gone through. But if women really make the commitment to themselves and they say, I want to turn towards the feminine in any mode, but especially in survival mode, that survival mode is going to be easier to deal with simply because you'll still be allowing people to help you. One thing that women really struggle with, especially in Western society, is obviously they've become men. They've taken a lot of jobs that are masculine jobs, and then obviously, of course, when you enter a man's space, you become a man. So with a lot of women, how possibly can they be feminine when they're a feminist and they're screaming and shouting and they don't just want a man's place, they want to be 50 steps ahead of him. So the topic is deep and I can cover a lot on this, but if you're a woman and you want to preserve it, you know, I always say masculinity is built. You build upwards into it, but femininity, you have to preserve it. It's almost like a jam. It's something very delicate and very sweet, and when you don't preserve it, you go the opposite way, and then a lot of women have the nerve to say, no one shows up for me, people abandon me, but people are not abandoning you. You have abandoned yourself, and then people just follow suit, and then they abandon you. So remember, in times of survival, always turn towards the feminine.